Hey guys, I hope you're doing fantastic today. I'm doing great, and do you know why I'm doing great? Because we get to start chapter 7. Woo! All right. So hopefully by now we've played the song for you, or maybe we haven't. Eventually we'll play the song. But anyway, we're going to be in our books on page whatever we are. Mr. Noel's going to yell at me here in a second and tell me what it is. All right.
It looks to be
somewhere around 380
and 82.
382. See how it's close. Okay, so 382. Here we go. Examples 1, 2, and 3. Weird thing called the Pythagorean theorem. Take a watch. Take a listen.
How does the Pythagorean theorem relate the side lengths of a right triangle? Think about this question during the lesson.
I don't know.
Triangle ABC is a right triangle
Yes, it
with
is.
side lengths A, B, and C. The legs A and B are the shorter sides of the right triangle. The hypotenuse C is the longest side of the right triangle.
Okay, so we've got to be good at this. So there are 3 parts to the triangle: leg, hypotenuse. Okay? The legs are adjacent or right next to the right angle. Right? And the right angle always is opposite, or I kind of think points to the hypotenuse, right? Hypotenuse, longest side of the triangle. So eventually they're going to give us numbers, and maybe they won't give us a picture, and they're going to have us figure some things out. So we've got to be able to identify leg, hypotenuse. Guys, we will always call the 2 legs A and B. We will always call the hypotenuse C. Okay, carry on, person.
Construct a logical argument to show that A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Okay, this is the Pythagorean theorem. They're going to prove this to you. We do not expect you to know all this stuff. Just kind of go. Or should we fast forward to the end, Mr. Noel?
Huh?
Right?
Yeah, I think it's always good to know why things work.
Okay, so here's why this works.
When you think logically
Here's why
and use
this works.
definitions, properties, and given facts to construct an argument, you are developing a mathematical proof.
Proof. We're proving something is true.
What is the area of the triangle?
Select your answer.
So area of a triangle, guys, 1/2 times base times height. Or in this case, 1/2 times this times this.
Nice
So
job.
that would be A and B. Okay.
The area of the triangle is 1/2 its base, B, times its height, A.
Yep.
Let's begin by composing a square using 4 copies of the right triangle. The next step is to rearrange the triangles inside the
Whoa.
same square.
Wow.
Yikers, okay? So again, they started with that same triangle 4 times, right? Then we had, again, they kept each side A, B, and C. You're going to see some funness here.
The total area of each square is
crazy
equal to the
stuff.
sum of its parts. So, the total area of the first large square is equal to 4 times the area of each right triangle, or 4 times the quantity 1/2
I
times
wanted to
A
skip it.
times
Mr. Noel
B,
didn't.
plus the area of the square in the center, which is C squared.
Yep.
The total area of the second large square is equal to the sum of the area of each of its parts, or AB plus AB plus A squared plus B squared.
That's awesome.
It's good stuff.
Because both large squares are exactly the same
This is
size,
awesome.
the areas are equal. Solve the equation by multiplying 4 and 1/2 on the left and
guys
combining
wanna
like
solve that
terms on
equation?
the right.
Yeah, I didn't
Apply the
think so.
subtraction property of equality to
Oh, I
cancel
love it.
2AB from each side of the equation.
That's awesome.
We've shown that if triangle ABC is a right triangle, then A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared.
Yep.
A logical mathematical argument in which every statement of fact is supported by a reason is called a proof. What you just saw is one proof of the Pythagorean theorem. There are many other ways to prove this theorem.
You guys want to see
Now,
some?
you know how the side lengths of a right triangle
either.
are related.
All right. So they proved to you that the Pythagorean theorem does indeed work, okay? That's great. All right, let's see it in action. Here's the thing. If we're going to use a formula, we're going to write it out, okay? Now, luckily, they've already written this one out for me. Here it is, right here, Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared. Remember, a and b are the two legs of the triangle. So these are the two legs or sides that are by the right angle. Okay, c squared, that's our hypotenuse. They don't tell me the legs or the hypotenuse. I have to use brain power to know, hey, hypotenuse is the longest side, or it's going to be the biggest number. So if I have side lengths of 15, 20, and 25, which one is the longest? Okay, that's right, it would be 25, okay? So anyway, a right triangle has those three side lengths. How can you use the Pythagorean theorem to write an equation that describes how the side lengths are related? So that's what we're going to do. 15 and 20 are the two legs. The order in which we write them in here, guys, does not matter. I'll put 15 here, I'll put 20 here, and I'll put 25 here. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to square each one of these numbers. 15 squared and 20 squared. I think I should know all these, but it's too late in the day. This is 225.
25.
This is 400. And this is 625, right? Does this form a true mathematical sentence? It's 225 plus 400. Is that number equal to this number over here? Of course it is, people. Of course it is. Okay? And that's what the Pythagorean theorem does for me, right? It proves to us that, hey, if you square the two legs, add them together, that equals the square of the hypotenuse. Okay? Good stuff. Okay. You guys ready for example 2? Yep, we're gonna do some big time calculating here. What is the length of the hypotenuse? Okay? So now, like these are the problems that we're gonna get into. So now we're going to be given 2 of the 3 sides of a triangle, and we will have to figure out the missing one. So they give me leg. I need to find out hypotenuse. Is hypotenuse A, B, or C? A, B, or C? Lock in your guess. A, B, or C? Those of you that said letter C, you are correct, okay? Leg, hypotenuse, all right? Do they just do this one for us?
Yeah.
I didn't see my next button. Here it is. Okay. So leg, hypotenuse. Remember, we got both legs on this one, A and B. That's why they put 8 and 15 here. Again, the order doesn't matter. You could have 15 squared plus 8 squared. All right. Yep, so they square both. They add them together. They get this far. Does that mean 289 is that side length?
No, that goes back to
This is
topic 1, everybody.
Yeah, this is an equation, guys, that we solved, I'm going to say sometime in September. Okay? 289 equals c squared. So I need to unsquare both sides of this equation. Of course, we do that by taking the square root, right? I know some of you remember that, right? We do that and we get, hey, the hypotenuse is 17. Beautiful, okay?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is great. All right, so there's one scenario. I had both legs. We figured out the hypotenuse. Do you think they would ever give me one leg and one hypotenuse? Chances are pretty good they would do that, right? And that's what they've done here, okay? So again, it says select each side of the triangle. Mr. Knowles tried to take control over here. I didn't want him to have control, okay? There you go, yeah, 29 this time. Again, if you need to turn your head sideways, leg, hypotenuse, okay? All right. So we got to figure out whether or not her 20-inch piece of trim is long enough to fit on that side of this display case. Sorry, we didn't read the whole thing. Don't worry about it, folks. Yep, so basically is this side down here, this missing side, 20 inches? Okay? I don't know, okay? But leg, hypotenuse. So we don't have the other leg. So we're going to solve this one a little bit differently, okay? But what isn't different, though, is that we just fast forwarded to the answer there all of a sudden. There we go. Okay. What isn't different, guys, is that we will always write out our formula, plug in what we know. So we know one of the legs, we know the hypotenuse, okay? So they plugged in 20 and 29, then they square both of those numbers, and then, guys, solve this equation for my variable, b squared. So I need to move 400 away from my variable. That's why they subtracted here in this next step. Then it looks just like the other problem. B squared equals 441, okay? Again, 441, not the answer. We've got to take the square root of that number, 441. That's my answer. In this case, 21, okay? So she does not have, sorry, Mara. She only had a 20-inch piece of trim. It's really 21 inches, so she does not have enough. I'm sorry. Okay? Okay, let's see what we got here.
A right triangle has a hypotenuse length of 32 meters.
Okay.
It has one leg with a length of 18 meters. What is the length of the other leg? Express your answer as a square root.
Okay. So there you go. If we don't have a triangle, probably a good idea, draw one like I did. Okay? Right triangle. What is the length of the other leg? Right? This is the I don't know. Okay? I don't know. All right. And I always like to fill in my number for B. So I'm going to call this, when I get this scenario, guys, hey, A, B, and C. Okay? Again, we have to know the hypotenuse is C. So if we're going to use a formula, of course we're going to write it out. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay? Fill in what we know. A is my missing leg that I'm going to find out here very soon. B is 18. C is 32. Whoa. 32. Okay? All right, let's figure out what these numbers are. So guys, 18 squared happens to be the number 324. Okay? 32 squared happens to be the number 1024. Okay? Keep solving this equation. So we need to move. This is why, here's the deal. Guys, if I put A first here, I know this is what I'm solving, but now I can easily see, hey, adding 324, I know when I move it to the other side, I'm not going to mess this up because I'm going to do the opposite of adding it, okay? So we're going to take the 1024. We're going to subtract 324 from both sides, okay? A squared is now equal to 700. So does that mean the missing leg is 700?
No.
No. Some of you will stop there, and some of you will be wrong if you do that. Keep going, right? Now, in this case, it says express your answer as a square root. So Mr. Noel and I are going to talk about the two different ways we can express our answers, okay? One of them is as a square root. The other is as a decimal, okay? It wanted the square root. All right, so I'm going to keep solving up here. A squared equals 700. Remember, how do we solve this equation? Take the square root, okay? So whatever I do to one side, I've got to do to the other side. So A is going to be equal to the square root of 700, right? This is not a good number, right? If I type this into my calculator, right, I get a terrible, horrible, very bad number like so.
That's
okay?
an irrational number.
Yeah, this is not a good number, okay? This is 26.45751311. Great, all right? Anyway, here's my answer. This is in meters, by the way, right? My answer expressed, right, as a square root. If they wanted it rounded to the nearest tenth, we would do that, okay? Anyway, that should be good enough to get us started here with the Pythagorean theorem. Check out Key Concepts. Those